everyone, I'm April, one half of Morrison and Turner's Home Care Entrepreneurship Academy. Today I want to address a question that we get almost on a daily basis, and that is, do you have to be a nurse to start a private duty home care agency? The short answer to that is no, you do not, but you also want to make sure that you look up your state requirements on who you have to have on staff for your agency. Some states may have you have a nurse on staff just for insurance purposes and liability purposes. But the short answer is no, you do not have to be a nurse to own and operate your own private duty home care agency. I just want to come talk to the people who are not nurses today, but if you are a nurse, this is helpful as well, because this is still information that you can say and utilize to promote client safety and quality of care. Most of you who know me, who know us at the Academy, you do know that I am a nurse. I'm speaking from a nursing perspective and how I utilize my nursing experience to close clients. And this is something that you can also do. My partner Tessa was also able to close clients and deal with clients, although she wasn't a nurse, based off some of the tips that I'm going to share with you today. And these all led to our $1 million home care agency. One thing I want to say that you guys who aren't nurses, that you can't hire or contract a nurse to work with you. So if you prefer to have a nurse on staff or want a nurse to go with you to close a client, you can definitely contract them for like an hour or two, whatever they're willing to do, and pay them an hourly wage or rate to come with you to close a client if it provides more comfort for the family. A lot of people want to know if you have a nurse on staff. If you ever get that question, you can say, while we don't have a nurse on staff at this time, we do want to let you know that we are open and willing to providing quality care based off the doctors and nurses' orders, and our aides are trained from a safety perspective to provide the best care, to give a high quality of care based on the current standards of practice. Something else that you want to do, you want to look up information about illnesses. So there's a list called the top 10 diseases that cause rehospitalizations or death. An example are like diabetes, stroke, and heart failure. Those are 3 that are always on the list. You want to familiarize yourself with basic information regarding these diseases, because most of your clients, even if they're not coming to you for diabetes or heart failure, let's say they broke their hip and they need care at home, they probably have a history of one of those top 10 illnesses most of the time. So when you're going into hospitals talking to referral sources, you can talk about how you are educated on these diseases, and you can help reduce the readmission rates. Also, when you're going in to close a client, you're open and able to address parts of their health history. For instance, if the client has a history of heart failure, you're going to be able to say, our aides are going to come in and make sure that mom sticks to a low salt diet and she's weighing herself each day to help reduce her likelihood of being readmitted to the hospital. That's just an example of things that you can look up and familiarize yourself with that's going to allow you to become an expert in the field of home care. Home care is not nursing care. It's providing quality care via aides. Again, being a nurse is helpful, but this is also information that you can apply as the owner of your agency that will allow you to stand out from the competition, that would allow your clients to know that you're going to provide quality care. Also, another thing that you can do is go to in-services or meetings. Hospice, for example, is the type of companies, they have a lot of networking meetings. You can go mingle with other people and create power partner relationships. For example, a hospice in-service, they may talk about the palliative care aspect of their business or how they do comfort care. You want to start to familiarize yourself with some of the lingo. You need to get very familiar with some of the healthcare terminology that you're going to be using with referral sources and families that allows you to establish yourself as an expert. So your goal is to always establish yourself as an expert in home care. There are plenty of resources that are out there that will allow you to do that. Even if you are a nurse and you own an agency, you still want to familiarize yourself with the home care side of things if you don't have that experience. I was an acute care nurse. I always worked in hospitals. I've never did long-term care, never did home care. So when I got into the home care industry, I had to familiarize myself with the different levels of care of home care, what the steps are once they go home from the hospital, My experience was I discharge you from the hospital. I really never see you again most of the time. But then there's a whole nother pathway once they go home that they should be following up with their doctor, weighing themselves, being compliant with medications that they need to make sure they're doing. Even as a owner, these are things that you could train your aides to do, and this is some reassurance you would give to families and referral sources. One thing that we always do is we always come in and we review the hospital discharge paperwork. We're ensuring that this patient is going to be compliant with their home medication and follow-up visits, because we know that these things lead to rehospitalization and leads to a ding from Medicare and a whole slew of other issues. That's another way to establish yourself as an expert. Also, you just want to focus that your agency is going to be following orders from the doctor. They're going to do best practices in care, and they're going to do what the family wants the client to do. Oftentimes, we know the client wants to do what they want to do. We need to also reassure them we're going to provide autonomy. We can't enforce. We know we're not police officers. We can't make sure that the client is sticking to their diet or forcing them to stick to things they don't want to do. Within limits, the client does have some rights, of course. Not within limits, they have rights. But within our limits, we can make sure that we can enforce what we can, and we can do what the family wants us to do that's in best interest of your client. I always focus on the fact that no matter if you're a nurse or not, that you're going to focus on what's in the best interest of your client based on the doctor's orders, the nursing instructions, and instructions from physical therapy or occupational therapy. So once you focus on these characteristics, the fact that you may not be a nurse, they forget about that. They just know that you're going to give quality care, and they still feel comfortable in trusting you with a referral or their family member's care. So today we're talking about, if you're not a nurse, how you can be effective in your agency, and those tips are a surefire way to provide quality care and to make sure you're getting the client and keeping the client. Have a great day.